So we're about to start. People can hear us. We have one person waiting for this to happen. One viewer waiting for us to start. About to start, family. Hello. This is Paulo Arias with International Relocation Partner. This is part of the Expat Community podcast, which is an effort that we're doing every Friday. And this is our Friday free Spanish classes with Professor Wagner R. How are you, Wagner?
Hey, Pablo. How are
feeling?
you? How are you?
We're doing good. Let me turn down the volume of the music.
Okay,
because
okay,
notice the volume is kind of like too high. Is that better?
It's better.
No? Is it better? Let me turn that off. Oh, I don't know. I still hear some music in the background. Hey guys, please let us know if you guys can hear us. Just comment on the comments below. Let us know if you guys can hear us, where you guys coming from. We love to make this a very interactive class. We are doing free Spanish classes every Friday with We Speak Spanish. We Speak Spanish is a school that help us learn the language. You're looking to move to Costa Rica, to Panama, to Mexico. You should learn the local language. This is why we are here. Professor Wagner is here to teach us Spanish. I'm just a shipping guy, I just do international shipping, but I think building community, it's an amazing idea. I have a lot of background noise. So let me see what do I have to turn off? guys hear me good?
No, it's very slow. It's very low, the sound.
Hmm. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. Warner, can you hear me good?
Now I can hear you better.
Let's start with the class. Let's just start where I play with my audio because my audio is not working good. By the way, John is here.
So John Miller is here, yeah.
One, two, three. I hear you, Paulo. Thank you. Thank you for that, John. Warner, I'm going to disconnect myself for just 1 minute.
Okay.
I'll let you start. You want to present something in the screen? Let me know so I can put it on the screen. I can hear basically 2 classes at the same time at double times. That's what I'm hearing right now. So I need to figure out how to do that. Rod is here.
Ralph is here. Well, I think this is the first time that we have. Hello, everybody. How are you? It's me, Wagner, from We Speak Spanish. Remember how Pablo said, every Friday we have this free session. We want to support the expat community here in Costa Rica, in Mexico, in Spain, Panama. So, okay. So, remember, we are a Spanish school that we basically we like to teach Spanish to expats. So this is because we have 2 different programs. We have the immersion program, and we have also the program for expats or residents. These 2 programs are different. Okay, the program for expats and residents, it's because it's something that you can learn when you are immersed in our culture. So you are living in Costa Rica, you are living in Panama. So you have the opportunity, you have the opportunity to practice this around the year. Sometimes with the immersion program, so these are more quantity of hours in few days. You have the possibility to get the knowledge, but sometimes you don't have the possibility to put that in practice. That is the difference between the immersion program and the program for expats or residents. Pablo, are you here now? Yep. Okay, Pablo, today we will talk about one funny topic. This is a funny topic because this is something that we have when you are learning the language. So today we will talk about cognates. Do you know what is a cognado, Pablo? I can hear you. I cannot hear you. No, no, no. I cannot hearing you well.
Let's see. Microphone. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, Pablo, one more time the question. What is a cognate? What is a cognate?
I don't know. What is
okay,
this?
John, are you there? John, are you there? Do you know what is a cognate, John?
Is it so what is a cognate?
Cognate.
Is this COGNATE?
Let me share my screen.
Like this? put it on the screen.
Exactly. What is a cognate? What is a cognate? En español, this question is, ¿qué es un cognado? ¿Qué es un cognado? So, in Spanish, ¿qué es un cognado? In English, what is a cognate? So, this is that I suggest to my students when they are learning the language. So, if you see in these two questions, so this is the question about what is a cognate, but in these two questions, we have a cognate. So it's the question, but at the same time, this is one example about what it's a cognate. A cognate is when we have one word in two different languages. So Pablo, what do you think is the cognate in these two questions?
I know a few. I think I know a few. Like international.
Exactly.
So in Spanish.
Exactly.
Spanish is internacional.
But in English
international.
International. Exactly.
Very similar. Very similar.
That is a cognate. That is a cognate. So a cognate is when we have one word in two different languages. Okay.
Good.
So if you are learning the language, if you are learning the language, what I suggest to my students is pay attention to the cognates. So probably between Spanish and English, we have, I don't know, probably 900 or 1,000 cognates. So imagine that this is information that you have in your brain. So you don't need to learn this. You need to use it. So, and now we will study about that. So we have 100% cognates. So to remember the meaning, it's one word in two different languages. And sometimes probably the same word, it's exactly the same in 2 or 4 different languages. So this helps your process of learning. For example, let me tell you one. Let me tell you one of these. This is 100% cognate. How do you say this in English? How do you say this in English? Or how do you say it in Spanish? Normal. But in Español is normal. So, normal, normal. Pablo, exactly the same spelling, exactly the same meaning. The difference here is the pronunciation, because in English we will say normal, but in Spanish we will say normal. Okay? So we have one more 100% cognate.
Similar.
In Spanish we say similar, but in English we say similar. Okay? Same spelling, the same meaning, but different pronunciation. Okay? These two are examples of 100% cognates. Okay? Okay, we have one more. Internacional.
Yep.
But in English, it's international. We can say that this cognate, it's 99% cognate because only changes one letter in the spelling. Because we say in Español, and the pronunciation is very similar. Internacional, international. So it means like maybe the person don't know to speak Spanish, but if they see the word internacional, immediately the brain is going to recognize that is international. So
I don't think that's hold on. Is tacos? John Miller is telling me tacos, but I don't know exactly. I don't think that's a cognate. Is it?
Well, tacos definitely it's a word that came from the Spanish, But remember, if we talk about United States, there's more than 140 millions of Latins there. So probably now it's familiar for many Americans or many people from United States about the meaning of this word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The language is very interesting. So the language, it's amazing because the language is not dead. The language is alive. So there's evolution. Okay, that means like for example, this is other class. But for example, the word sweater definitely came from the English. But people who speak Spanish, they use it, but they obviously, because they are not English speakers, native speakers, how they started to pronounce this word, it was sweater. So sweater, you know. So see the small changes. See the similar sound in the pronunciation. But the evolution of the language allow us that every year the Real Academia, the Real Academia is the main organization about the Spanish language, because millions of people, they started to use the word sweater as sweater. That word now it's already registered as a Spanish word. Okay, so it's like for example, the verb to surf. In Spanish, we have not that verb. So until the Real Academia, they accept the use of the verb surfear. So in the etymology of the word, there's some changes. So we can identify sometimes if this word came from English, because the way that how built that word tell us that that is not a Spanish word, if not came from the English. Okay, but I assume that I think that is exactly the same situation in English. You know, especially now there's a lot of people from Latin America living in the United States that now the English adopt. Maybe we need to ask to Cambridge if they add to the dictionary, to the English dictionary, words that they came from Spanish. And I probably think that tacos is one of that ones, because it's from the Spanish.
It definitely came from Mexico.
From Mexico, exactly. Sí. Okay. Spanglish. So the Spanglish. So we have many. What are you doing? Googlear. So came from the word Google, but now that became a verb. What are you doing? Facebooking. So Facebooker. So many words. So that's why every day I told to my students that we basically, in Spanish, we have 15,000 verbs, but every day we have a new verb. That is the evolution of the verb. And now, especially if we talk about technology. So because technology is changing every day. So now we have many new words in our language. So let's go back to the cognate. So remember, the cognate, it's two words in two different languages. In this case, I am giving you examples, 100% cognates. International, it's 99% cognate. Yeah, because if you see internacional in Español, but international in English. That is what I said. Sometimes I have a student and they say, Wagner, I don't know words in Spanish. I am completely zero. I need to say, that is not true. I am completely sure that in your brain, you have content that we share in both languages. That's why you have now knowledge in Spanish, even if you don't know about that knowledge. Okay, so is this international, internacional. So we have other, for example, what about if I say, Pablo, transporte? What do you think is that in English?
Transportation.
Transportation.
Transporte.
Exactly. Transporte. Transportation.
So how many words do you say are the same English and Spanish?
are the same in English and Spanish, exactly. What
But
about
how
the
many?
word? Oh, okay. Probably we have between 900 and 1,000. Okay, from 700 and 1,000 different words. Okay. What about this? If you see this, Pablo, in Español, pasaporte.
Passport.
Passport. Passport. Pasaporte. What about, entonces, passport? Now you know passport. Very good. What about if you read the word, okay, pantalones.
Pants.
Pants. Okay, is still John there with us? John, give me one example. What do you think it's a cognate?
He's been
Who
doing
else?
some pronunciation.
Pronunciation. Exactly. John, this is a cognate. You in English, you will say pronunciation, but we in Spanish, we will say pronunciación. Pronunciación. Okay? So cognates help us a lot to get the language and especially to feel confidence. That is one of the situations with a student, Wagner. I have a lot of vocabulary, but I don't have confidence to speak Spanish. When you realize that you have the content in your brain, it will be easy. Pablo, what else? So there are some other.
There are many.
There's many, exactly, but there are another cognate that maybe they are not exactly the same. So, but for example, well, this is another example about exactly the same cognate. When we say autobus in English is autobus, exactly the same. Exactly the same. Okay.
I was just doing some research on basically ChatGPT, artificial intelligence is telling me that it's 20 to 30% of the words. It's anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 words that are the same in English to Spanish. That's amazing. So there's a lot of things. By the way, a lot of words people already know. So you already know some Spanish. Basically, you already know 20% of Spanish, right? At the very minimum, you know 20 to 30%. That's what I just researched here in the
exactly.
ChatGPT.
That is why. Exactly. That is, I almost told you like a 5,000, but yeah, but exactly. So if you
3,000 to 5,000.
3,000 to 5,000, exactly.
Yeah.
If you still think like there's no reason to learn Spanish. Now you have one more reason. In your brain, you have between 3,000 and 5,000 words that we use in Spanish. So if you don't speak Spanish, it's because definitely you don't want, because you have the tools to learn the Spanish. See this in Spanish, verbos. In English, it will be verbs. So we can continue with this list. What about if you say irregular? Irregular in Español. What is that in English? Irregular, exactly. Irregular in Spanish, irregular in English. See this one, en Español. Pablo, es importante. What is importante in English?
Important. John is asking, how do you say Wi-Fi in Spanish?
Well, that is a new terminology. John. So probably we use the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. Yeah. Probably even people say Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably if we go to one special dictionary of new terminology, they will be like probably estación de internet or something like that. Maybe we need to go to the dictionary, try to find that. But many of the new concepts we use them like a modem. So still for many years we are using the word modem to refer the box that we have in our houses to spread the signal of internet in our houses. So things like that. Okay. So Pablo,
Wow.
what is this? Okay, but pay attention, because always when we have something very good, we need to pay attention at small situations. Because also the situation is that we have this, we can find this in the internet as good friends. We can find this in internet at real cognates, 100% cognates, but also we can find something that we call false cognates, amigos falsos, bad friends, amigos malos. Okay, and this is because so that's why also if I say to my students, you can use this, you can use to learn the language. Also, we have a false cognates. And with the false cognates, it's not only to learn the language, if not, I am teaching to my students to have be careful in different conversations, because maybe you are saying something that it's completely incorrect. Okay, Pablo, what do you think? Because I know that you know the meaning in Spanish, but what I want is that you try to think in English. Don't think in Spanish because you are a Spanish native. Think as English person, okay? So if you see the word,
this is funny. This is gonna be funny. I know.
Of course you know this word in Spanish. You know what is that, but try to think as an American English speaker. Embarazada. ¿Qué significa?
So I have a story with this. I remember, one of my best friends in South Carolina, Charlie, he is dating this girl from Argentina, right? And she barely speaks English. So he was just like translating. Back in the day, I'm talking about 20 years ago, kind of translating with their little direct, with the little book to read words, dictionary, right? And he goes like, "Oh, I'm so embarazada." So Chuck, he cannot be pregnant. So he was ashamed. He was feeling shame, but he was saying, "Oh, I'm embarazada," thinking that's embarrassed, and it's actually
embarrassed. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly one of my funny stories. I think we have that is. Yeah. I think we have that story in our community profile, because one day, one of my students, she came and she told me, "Wagner, estoy embarazada."
Oh, how many months?
Oh no! I said, "Hey, really? Really? Are you embarazada? Congratulations!" So and she was completely red. Her face, it was completely red. "Wagner, no, why you are saying felicidades?" "I am saying felicidades because you are embarazada." "Well, yes, I am embarazada. I forgot my homework at home." And I said, "Oh, no. Now I understand what you are saying." So this is because now you can see here that both words, embarazada and embarrassed. Okay, if you see, this is a very similar spelling, probably a little bit similar pronunciation, but the meaning is completely different, because embarazada in Spanish, in English, that is pregnant. Exactly, it's pregnant. And embarrassed, in Spanish, it's avergonzada. Okay, this is one of the funny false cognates. However, in my personal opinion, the truth is maybe these two words, they are not exactly a false cognates, because if you remember, Pablo, what happened in the families probably 50 years ago, when one girl got pregnant without husband, it was something embarrassed for the family. So that I remember some cases when the mom said that the kid it was hers, but it was not hers. It was from one of her daughters. Things like that is because if the people in the town they knew the real situation, it was something embarrassed for the family. So for me, it has sense. Like these two words are similar. Of course, remember there's evolution in the language, and now this is very clear that embarazada is pregnant and embarrassed is avergonzada. Okay, Pablo, one more time. Think in English. Don't think in Spanish because you know the meaning in Spanish. But if you see the following word, éxito, if you see the next word, éxito, what do you think is that in English?
Éxito.
Éxito in Spanish, but in English?
I know what is it. What is in it
In
says
English,
it's success.
you will but in English you will say. So remember, if you see the word in Spanish, it is éxito, and if you are an English speaking, a native speaking, so you will read that like an exit. But this is also a false cognate because the situation is that exit in Spanish is salida. Exit in Spanish is salida, okay? But when you say éxito en español, in English, it will be success, okay? So these two are examples of false cognates. These are false cognates, okay? Pablo, what do you think? Is this funny to learn? So is this good to learn?
It's funny. It's funny. I want to show you something on the screen. I just came. This is my ChatGPT artificial intelligence.
Wait a sec.
I don't know. Can you guys see my screen? It's doing false.
Yeah.
Actual, asistir, biblioteca, carpeta. So they give you a list of 50. I just asked for 50 of those examples. Interesting. Clothing, right? Ropa. Clothing in English.
Exactly. There's a lot.
Rope.
Yeah, there's exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. We say in Español, exactly. I like that one. When we say ropa in Español, immediately the students they say rope. Yeah, we say ropa, but they say rope. But this is a false cognate because rope in Spanish is cuerda, but ropa in English it's clothes.
This other one.
Which one?
I don't know if you can see the screen.
Yeah. See. Exactly. This one, Pablo. This one. Exactly. In Spanish, we say carpeta. Carpeta. And your brain, when you are thinking in English, immediately is going to say carpet. But this is a false cognate because carpet in Spanish it's alfombra, and carpeta in English it's file. So two different cognates, okay? Two different cognates. So
I did another one.
Which one?
Just put it on the screen. I'm just picking some, but this is a lot of our customers are retirees. Jubilación. And the jubilation. Jubilation.
Yeah. See this. So we say okay, yeah, see this one. Asistir. In English, this is a verb. This is one of the verbs that they are false cognates, because we in Spanish, we say asistir, and in English, you read this like a to assist. Yeah, you read this, where is that? To assist. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about how to write in English. Asistir. Yeah, to assist. It was okay. Okay. If you see these two, these are verbs. So if you think like it's exactly the same, but it's not the same. To assist is ayudar, and asistir in Spanish, but in English it is to attend. Asistir, to attend.
Here. To attend, asistir. Yeah.
Here. Yeah, exactly. And we will finish with this one. We have this. This is a verb also. In English we say, in Spanish we say contestar. Contestar. And you, in your brain, like as person who speak English, you will think, is this to contest? Contestar, to contest.
Has nothing to do.
Exactly, nothing
to do.
Contestar, and you say,
Answer.
oh, I know that is to contest. No, because to contest en español es concursar. Concursar, and in español contestar, it's to answer. Okay. So Pablo, this is our class today. So this is a very refreshing class, because remember, if you are trying to learn the language, or even if you are watching our video and you are learning English, remember that we have between our languages, we have a similar words that they have exactly the same spelling, they have exactly the same meaning, different pronunciation, and that helps us in our process of learning. But also, we have some other words that if they look similar, the spelling is very similar, probably the pronunciation also is similar, but they have two completely different meanings. So, but this is very interesting, because what I say to my students is, try to pay attention now. Every word that you see, because you are going to connect that word that you see in Spanish with the knowledge that you have in English. Yesterday, one student told me, Wagner, when I'm walking in front of the park in my town, I try to catch all that words. If I see the word batería, immediately I understand that it's a battery. So I am connecting words with the situation and with knowledge that you already have. And that is the best way to learn Spanish. Pablo, something special from the weekend?
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. I want to just remind what we're doing here is the Expat Community effort to connect everyone, to have people and help people learn the Spanish. But we also have in the expatcommunity.com Spanish, local news translated into English. So if you are still learning, it's going to take a little while. We are sending this as an email on once a week. So we take local news from Mexico, from Panama, from Costa Rica, and just share. Just share what's happening. We also have expat groups. The Costa Rica one is 29,000 people. We have another one in Mexico, a little over 1,000 people. We are about to launch the Panama expat group. So yeah, keep being part of this effort, and we're happy to help and provide useful resources for the expat community. Thank you so much, and that's our time for today.
Bye.